when everything collapses, your marriage, your confidence, your identity, how do you survive the silence that follows? The front door clicks shut, her footsteps fade down the hall, and suddenly the halls of your home feel cavernous. In that echo, you hear every doubt you ever silenced. Your routines, coffee together, shared looks, inside jokes, are ghosts. You find yourself staring into a cup of coffee so dark it mirrors the pit in your stomach. You might think you're alone in this, but most men experience this bruise to their pride in silence. You wonder if you'll ever feel stable again. Yet silence can be the forge of transformation. Stoic wisdom tells us that adversity isn't an obstacle, it's raw material. The man you were is not lost, he's simply unmade. And what's about to rise from those ashes is not defined by loss, but by intention. In the next few minutes, we'll explore how hitting rock bottom can spark the kind of rebirth that not only rebuilds you, but makes you someone who doesn't need validation from anyone else. Let's get started. The initial days after she leaves feel like walking through a minefield of emotions. Grief, anger, regret, and uncertainty bounce around in your head like errant bullets. You replay conversations. You scour your mind for the moment you could have changed the outcome. Every text notification, your heart leaps. Every silence, your spirit sinks. This emotional fallout is the crucible of self-knowledge. It reveals vulnerabilities you've long suppressed. You're forced to confront questions you've ignored. Who am I without her? What did I rely on her for? A Stoic doesn't deny pain. He studies it. He leans into discomfort to extract its lesson. You sit with the hurt. You journal your most brutal thoughts without judgment. You allow yourself to sob or rage in private, then practice resetting your posture and your breath. With each wave of emotion, you ask, what is within my control here? You'll learn. Feelings aren't facts. Your pain does not define your worth. Rather, it reveals areas where you can cultivate strength and compassion. This phase isn't misery for its own sake. It's the soil where resilience takes root. After shock comes the hunger for stability. You crave something solid beyond your fractured heart. Interestingly, that hunger is what makes you magnetic. Stability, emotional, mental, financial, is rare and powerful. Financial stability isn't about flashing cash, it's about responsibility. You pay your bills on time, you budget, you plan. That reliability signals to others that you can weather storms and protect what matters. Emotional stability means you can handle tension without spiraling. You've felt the worst. You know how to stay calm under pressure. Mental stability means you have a framework. Your Stoic practices, your morning routines, your philosophical readings that anchors you when doubts swirl. When a younger woman smiles at you in the cafe line, you think it's polite, but she's sensing something deeper. A man who stands on his own 2 feet. A man whose quiet presence is a sanctuary in a world of restless energy. She doesn't need direction from you. She sees that you offer an ecosystem of safety and steady leadership. This reliability comes at a cost. You must commit to integrity every day. You show up for yourself and your obligations even when you don't feel like it. With every small victory, no late payments, no impulsive reactions, you reinforce the foundation of a man worth admiring. Rock bottom strips away illusions of grandeur. You can only climb back up by learning to inhabit your own company. You stop filling quiet nights with noise, no constant scrolling, no endless social media. You learn that being alone doesn't equal loneliness. It equals self-possession. That self-possession metamorphoses into quiet confidence. You walk into a room and you don't seek attention. You simply take up space. Your gaze is steady. Your shoulders relaxed, but unbowed. You speak only when you have something meaningful to say. When you laugh, it's genuine. You move with intent. Women, and especially younger women, are attuned to unspoken signals. A brief, appraising smile across a crowded bar isn't always flirtation, it's curiosity. Who is this man who doesn't seem to need me yet draws my eye? You've become a silent question. This confidence isn't arrogance. It's the clarity born of having faced your darkest hour and choosing to rebuild. People sense that strength. They instinctively relax around you. They trust that you'll be present without demanding their validation. Quiet confidence is not about being extroverted or loud. It's about being internally anchored. And once you master that, you'll realize your presence speaks twice as loud as any boast. In your youth, you chased thrills, fast cars, late-night parties, validation in numbers. But time teaches that those are fleeting highs. A mature man trades spectacle for significance. He doesn't need to prove his worth with a blaring horn. He lets his actions resonate. Maturity means listening first, speaking second. You've accumulated experiences, successes, failures, triumphs, losses that have sculpted your empathy and your judgment. You know what really matters: honesty, integrity, depth. A younger man brags about his conquests. You reminisce about your lessons. You share stories that reveal character, not conquest. You ask thoughtful questions that show genuine interest. You read books that challenge your mind. You have passions that transcend the immediate. That solidity, rooted in decades of living, becomes irresistible. Women looking for more than a weekend distraction sense the weight of your life experience. It reassures them you can navigate complexities, handle hard conversations, and offer wisdom rather than drama. You're not competing with the flashy models or the Instagram influencers. You stand apart. You are the oak, not the sapling, and there's a calm power in that. Here's the pivotal twist. You never get her back. And that's where real power blossoms. You've been uncoupled from outcomes. You detach your worth from external approval. In Stoicism, detachment isn't coldness, it's freedom. You free yourself from the fear of loss. You recognize that every relationship, every possession, every role is temporary. When you cling, you suffer. When you detach, you live. You practice by releasing expectations. A smile across the room becomes a pleasant encounter, not validation. A text doesn't become the measure of your worth. You engage with life fully without craving its applause. This detachment produces an aura of self-sufficiency that's deeply attractive. It signals you won't collapse if someone leaves again. You've built an inner fortress. You're a man who can welcome love, but won't beg for it. When you walk away from dependence on someone's affection, you walk toward dependence on yourself. That shift, recognizing you hold the reins of your own happiness, changes everything. A house under renovation requires scaffolding and blueprints. Your psyche is no different. You rebuild through daily rituals that reaffirm your identity and your values. Start simple. Wake at a consistent hour. Make your bed an act of order in chaos. Move your body. Walk, stretch, lift. Eat with intention. Nourish rather than numb. Incorporate a Stoic exercise. Each morning, journal one Stoic quote and reflect on how to apply it. At midday, ask, "What in my control?" Each evening, review one voluntary discomfort, like a cold shower or a skipped snack, to harden your resolve. These small, consistent choices are the bricks of a new foundation. They teach discipline, presence, and self-respect. Over time, they compound. You won't notice on day 3, but by day 30, you'll feel a shift in your posture, your mindset, your self-talk. Routine doesn't stifle spontaneity. It frees it. When you're anchored in habits, you can take calculated risks. Ask someone out, invest in a new project, explore a novel interest. With confidence, you're no longer drifting, you're steering. This is how you become the kind of man who doesn't merely survive loss, but leverages it into a life of purpose, resilience, and unforeseen attraction. She left, and you were forced to face the man behind the mask. You tumbled through emotional fallout, discovered how stability and quiet confidence magnetize respect, realized that maturity outweighs flash, learned detachment is liberation, and rebuilt yourself brick by daily brick. You didn't get her back because you didn't need to. You became someone who stands solid on his own, a man whose silent presence speaks volumes. Stability is a rare and powerful attraction. Quiet confidence communicates more than bravado. Life experience outshines fleeting thrills. Emotional detachment fosters true freedom. Daily routines rebuild your identity. Where are you in this journey? Drop a comment below. Share your challenges, your victories, your insights. If you found value here, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. This channel is your forge for self-mastery, not just relationship tips. Stay strong, embrace the process, and remember, the man you rebuild today becomes the legend you live tomorrow.